All right, now we're going to look into the emotional environment. We generally were talking about the emotional system, which is kind of a larger mechanics, if you will. Now, if we take the look at the emotional environment, we have slightly more subtle things, a little bit more, let's say, relatable things, in the sense that energy being kind of formed from the idea, sorry, emotions being formed from the idea of energy moving out of individual, um, we then think of that it is moving out. So, what was it doing in? If we're going to relate this to a kind of more hmm, known system, we'd say this is the hormonal system. So when you are angry, we'll say this is an emotion, then this changes your internal environment, therefore your hormonal environment. What happens when you sustain anger for a very long period of time? This is going to impact on your internal organs in some way. Jealousy, same way, some kind of internal organ. Sadness, same way, some kind of internal organ. And changing the amounts of hormones released in different areas, um, I guess addressing different areas in the body, therefore having a different visual look to it on the external portion of the individual, but coming from the inside. Um, we would say that often if we live in an environment highly emotionally charged in one aspect, this changes how we even move kinetically in the world. Therefore, we're seeing the internal moving outward, the energy from the inside coming external. We also hear this in the response of the individual, the words selected to communicate of challenges or things that are even positive. These all have a kind of weight to them, in my opinion, a kind of resistance of movement. I see things in movement, so that's how I'm explaining it to you. This also being said, then what kind of body types do we see form? Where's the kind of real life uh, visual of this thing happening? I'd say we'll use men for example. In men, generally later on in life, we will see that belly, as we call it, the one pack, kind of showing itself. This is quite interesting. We'd say that this person generally just is not exercising. However, is this really the case? How much does exercise have to do with this? Is this really just the emotional environment being shown to us in a physical way? Hmm. This becomes more of a question. We'd say then, if this person were to do more exercise, how much does this reduce that belly? And that even being said, what is the proportion of weight gain on the person's extremities versus their central area? If we're saying there's still more central area and they look kind of toned or not particularly out of shape in those other extremities, we'd say this has a lot more of a emotional kind of visual to it, in the sense that we know that cortisol, kind of sits in the stomach area.